In this video, I'm going to show you how you can turn one piece of content into 10 plus pieces across all of your platforms. I'm going to give you a broad overview of what this looks like, then I'm going to talk step by step on each one on how you can actually do it for yourself. My name is Brandon and I've been running a video content agency for the past 3 years where we help clients create original content and then repurpose those for all of their platforms. I'm going to show you the system that we're using with our clients, and this is also the same system that I'm going to use for my own content on this channel and for all of my platforms. So beside me here is what I call the content flow, where we turn one video into 10 plus pieces of content. If you've watched other creators on YouTube that talk about this kind of idea, my favorite ones are Matt Gray, Dan Koe, and Alex Hormozi. These three creators specifically talk about content, but also just talk about the systems behind their content. You'll quickly realize that the consistency that you're looking for and that everyone talks about in content creation really begins and starts with systems. I'd highly recommend Matt Gray, who specifically talks about systems and where a lot of this kind of is inspired from. Dan Koe also talks about content systems, but it all stems from his writing, which is at the end of the day one of the most important skills in content creation. And Alex Hormozi does a good job of bridging the gap between content and business and explains a lot of his own systems in very simple and easy ways to understand. Those are really good resources, but to get into this right now, how I turn one piece into 10 pieces, we're going to start with this YouTube video. So this video I'm going to say as an example, I'm going to grab this exact video that I'm recording right now. I'm going to edit it into a full-length YouTube video, as it says here. And then that's actually going to turn into all these other pieces. And here we're going to turn it into Instagram Reels and carousels. Those Reels, which is the short form videos, is also going to be scattered throughout the other short form platforms. So we have Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. That video can also be used on LinkedIn, really depending on the content of the video. And then for these carousels, you can also use the carousels on TikTok and LinkedIn as well. Here it says ideas for future videos. So a lot of this is just data gathering, especially at the very beginning when you're trying to figure out what kind of videos and styles do well. This is one way to really just scatter it out on the different platforms and to see if this video does well on this platform and if that really translates the same way on another platform. It's just a really big testing ground. So if you just keep putting more inputs, you're going to get more outputs, and then you can really track that down and really figure out which content does well on which platform. Moving on with LinkedIn, we briefly talked about it with the videos, but you can also turn that long piece of content into text-based pieces. How we do that with our clients is we use AI like ChatGPT and Claude, where we have specific prompts that have details of these clients. We'll paste the video transcript alongside that prompt. We'll generate all of this text-based content. We'll do additional reviews on all of the pieces before we send it out to the client, and then they'll revise it themselves, and then we'll just fix it all together and then finalize it for final publishing. And after LinkedIn, you can use that same prompt for Twitter or X, and same with your newsletter. So to go into more detail of the actual editing, I actually have another table here on the side of this, which is the post-production workflow. So this is exactly what we're doing with our clients. Just going to be real transparent here. And it's broken down into these 4 segments with data management, editing, packaging, distribution, and then analytics and ideation. And then that ideation, we'll just look back to the beginning, and then recording, data management, and then all that kind of stuff. So as you can see in the first part here, it's just recording the footage, uploading them, and just keeping them on the drives. And then actually going down to editing, where we use these tools to do rough cuts, any sequencing, and then we put them all into Frame, which is the one over here, where they can do revisions, and then we also give them the final export. Talking about these kind of software here that we use is we specifically have the Adobe Suite, and we also use CapCut. Both of these tools have really grown and built out extensive AI features in their actual software. Things like removing the green screen or the background, CapCut does really well. And also I really like the subtitling feature on CapCut. Adobe has a really good audio enhancer, and they have some extensions that save a ton of time, like Autopod, which literally can edit your podcast in a few minutes. I also have Descript here, which you can use for editing, but I specifically use it for its Overlord feature, which is its AI. It can give you titles, show notes, YouTube descriptions. It can give you timestamps. It can also give you clips of the long form piece, which you can use for short form content. I don't really use that feature that much, but it does really help with the timestamps, where you can find specific parts that you might like that you can turn into short form pieces. The other app here is called Submagic. It's one of my favorite subtitling tools. If I'm not using CapCut or Adobe, I'm most likely using Submagic. I think Submagic has one of the best, if not the best, voice recognition to subtitles that I've seen in any of these platforms. And what I mean by that is if someone with a thick accent talks, Adobe does have a hard time of really figuring out what those words are. And even CapCut does a little bit better, but I find that Submagic honestly has been so great. I have some clients that I work with that are all around the world, and some of them have some really thick accents. Submagic does a really good job of being able to recognize these words and then actually making subtitles pretty easily. These are just some applications I'm using in my overall business. If you want me to go in detail of any of these, leave a comment below and I could make specific videos talking about each of these applications and how you can actually use them. And then like I said earlier, goes into Frame.io, which is our revisions tool. Really good if you're doing collaborations with other people. And then down to the next column is packaging distribution, right? So right here, we got the captions, cover creations. We got ChatGPT, Claude, and Canva. with Claude and ChatGPT, like I mentioned earlier, is what is going to create the captions and also going to turn the transcript into text-based content. Canva is great overall for any kind of graphic design and any covers and thumbnails. And then we go on to scheduling. We use Metricool, Buffer, and then schedule them, manage them. We also look, we analyze them, and then we do monthly calls with the clients. So that's just to end that off. But that's pretty much the entire system that I'm using for my clients, and I'm also going to use for myself. So just kind of going back to this, I will be doing this on my channel and all of my accounts moving forward, at least for the next few months, just to kind of give proof of concept that if I can build it for myself, I can really build it for pretty much anyone else. We've been doing it specifically in the real estate niche for some time, and I want to scale and expand this. But I feel like if I just did it for myself, it'll be a lot easier to show credibility and also just a challenge to myself that I can also create content, not for others, but for my own personal accounts. Some additional information to kind of help you out with turning the one piece into 10 pieces. For carousels, I'll use either Canva or an app called Content Drips, which specifically makes carousels. For newsletters and blog posts, I also have a specific prompt, which actually turns the transcript into this, but I also learn context of the client's business, so it actually makes sense when I actually read it. How I'm going to use this for myself, since I'm not a client, I have a modified version of the prompt that we use that's just going to give me bullet points of ideas that are in this video that I can use as inspiration to then make a newsletter, which I'm going to make my newsletter on Substack. And I'll also be putting my photos and videos on there as well. So that's my content flow system. With this system in place, every recording and every video will have like a compounding effect. It's leverage. You're going to record one time and it's going to equate to 10 plus pieces scattered throughout all the platforms. It will create consistency and momentum, and you should be able to keep going and going for however long. Well, that's at least the hope in my case, because I have been slacking on content for some time, and I'm hoping that me implementing this on myself will change all that. We're going to try to go from 5K to 10K monthly recurring revenue in the next 3 to 4 months, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.